The Whole Brain Child by Daniel Siegel and Tina Payne Bryson. This gilded parenting book has received stunning reviews across the board, but it fits into quite a niche, having sold 1 million copies and being released in 2011. But what's it about? What's the story behind it? What makes it so beloved amidst the landscape of the online parent sphere? Just so you know, there are affiliate links in the description. If you buy anything through those links, like maybe this book, then I get commission, which helps me build this channel and keep making these videos. And any other books that I mention in this video, chances are I've reviewed them, and I'll drop links to those reviews as well. But welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam, and I want to make self-growth normal, because people shouldn't have to look this information up. It should just be mainstream knowledge. If you agree, then please make sure to smash that like button. The authors, within 3 minutes of the audiobook, I can tell 3 minutes that they know what they're talking about, just the specifics of what they're describing. It seems like the stuff only parents would truly get. I'm a cat parent. It's the same, but I know it's not. You've had those days, right? When the sleep deprivation, the muddy cleats, the peanut butter on the new jacket, the homework battles, Play-Doh on your keyboard, and the refrains of "she started it" leave you counting the minutes until bedtime. On these days, the days when you again have to pry a raisin from a nostril, it seems the most you can hope for is to survive. Something about this entire thing I just read reminds me of Lynette's kids from Desperate Housewives. People talk about surviving versus thriving. This book in general is about using everyday moments with your kids to help them reach their true potential. I know, thinking about kids reaching their true potential sounds Scientological, if that's a word, doesn't it? Instead of focusing on overachievement at all costs, this book focuses more on helping your kids be themselves with ease, resilience, and strength. And this hinges upon understanding the basics of the young brain that you're helping to grow and develop. It focuses on the years from birth to 12, centering especially on toddlers, school-age kids, and preteens. Half of every chapter is dedicated to what you can do sections. What I think that they're getting at here, which may be a contributing factor as to the length of this review being a little bit shorter than my other ones probably are, is the usefulness of understanding the basics of how a child's brain works, but getting your child to understand it as well. Chapter 1. Parenting with the brain in mind. Even the most educated parents don't usually know how a child's brain works. They focused a lot of this chapter on something called integration, which is where the brain connects different parts and functions to work as a whole. That part in the end really stood out about chaos versus rigidity. One extreme is chaos, which is a total lack of control, and the other extreme is rigidity, where there's too much control and leading to a lack of flexibility and adaptability. We all move back and forth between these two banks as we go through our days, especially as we're trying to survive parenting. They concluded that the powerful and practical approach of integration allows us to see the ways in which our children, or even we ourselves, experience chaos and rigidity because, well, integration. Chapter 2. Two brains are better than one. This chapter touches upon the differences between right and left hemispheres of the brain. The general idea is that each side is responsible for different things, and both sides are meant to work together for a whole brain child to function most properly. This chapter includes several examples of how to integrate both sides. Chapter 3, Building the Staircase of the Mind. Building the Staircase of the Mind, one stair at a time. That's not the entire chapter name. The amygdala is the watchdog of the brain and can hijack the upstairs brain when it detects danger, which allows us to act before we think. Frightening experiences of the past will block a connection to the upstairs brain, which causes us to not really be able to think about what we're doing. We just act. A more developed upstairs brain can help a child regulate their emotions, think before acting, make good decisions, be empathetic, etc. But kids don't have the biological skill set to do this, and it gives parents more incentive to see the rewards of raising a child to be like this. Then they talk about different types of tantrums. Upstairs and downstairs tantrums. Obviously not ones that occur up the stairs versus down the stairs, but how to respond to them. Spoiler alert here, the biggest difference is that upstairs tantrums are intentional. Chapter 4, Kill the Butterflies. The act of killing butterflies refers to doing something that scares you despite the negative or traumatic associations you've made between it and a past experience that you'd rather not have to experience again. The author suggested liberating or freeing the butterflies, but the kids involved in these stories suggested kill instead. This is very common, and I think It ties in a little even for adults with System 1 and 2 thinking, as discussed in Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, one of the most popular psychology books, I would argue, of this century. Chapter 5, The United States of Me. A lot of these are really funky, playful chapter names. I love it. A lot of these are ultimately things that even adults struggle with. It's no wonder why they call it the whole brain child. The state comes to be seen as a part of who they are. Imagine a 9-year-old who is struggling with homework, even though school generally comes very easy to her. Unless she integrates her feelings of frustration and inadequacy with herself, realizing that one emotion is just a part of a larger pool of who she is, she might begin to look at this temporary slate as a permanent characteristic of her personality. She might say something like, "I'm so stupid. Homework, it's just too hard for me." But if her parents can help her integrate the many parts of herself, she can avoid identifying solely with this one feeling in this one particular moment. Chapter 6, the me-we connection. When your 11-year-old finds out that he did not get accepted into the art program that he had his heart set on, you may need to hold off on word-heavy pronouncements of hope and alternatives. The downstairs state of reactivity does not know what to do with a lot of upstairs words. So much of staying calm and aware of what you're trying to teach is involved in this. The authors keep mentioning something here called mindsight. Mindsight is a term coined by Dan Siegel, one of the authors, and it's a skill that forms the basis of emotional and social intelligence. When I was a kid, I knew this other kid named Quinn. And that kid had so much mindsight. I think a lot of us had a Quinn growing up, just another kid who was like down to earth and calm and emotionally intelligent, seemingly well beyond his or her years. But they conclude by saying that your job is to be present with your children and connect with them through the ups and downs of life's journey. Even the hard times and the mistakes you make are opportunities to help your children grow. After this, there was a chart and reference guide for using the strategies in the book throughout different stages of development in a whole brain child. If I were a parent and I got this book, I would really want to get my hands on that. Quotes. No matter how brilliant you think your preschooler is, she does not have the brain of a 10-year-old and won't for several years. The very act of recalling a memory changes it. Just by talking about the mind, you help develop it. Any new parent, this is worth checking out, obviously. It just really seems like the type of book that new parents or any parents in general would benefit from. I'm a cat dad, not a child dad. So again, I'll link this book in the description if you want to check it out and read the reviews from actual parents. Direction 2, if you like this book, the closest things I can recommend if you like this book, because I haven't checked out a lot of books about raising kids, Just Listen by Mark Golston. The Whole Brain Child by Daniel Siegel and Tina Payne Bryson. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video if you want to check those out too. If there are any other books that you want me to check out and review, and I say that in literally every single book review at the end, but I really want to stress that on this one because this is probably, I think it might actually be the only book about like being a parent that I've ever reviewed so far. If you have any other very similar books, How to Talk So Kids Will Listen, that's on my to-do list. Please let me know in the comments below. I'll try to make sure it gets done. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can see more of the videos we're putting out on this channel. And if you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to get a notification whenever I drop new videos, that would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I'll see you then.